Welcome back, students, for yet another Daily Do Now. I hope that you are well and feeling good today. And as Pa always says, and Pa, I love it that you say this on your attendance forms, I'm ready to learn today. I'm feeling ready to learn. I do pay attention to those. I wish I could respond all the time to all of the great stuff that I'm receiving from you in the Google Classroom. But I do. I read what you write. Okay, are you ready to talk about another word today? Today we are talking about the word alarming. Alarming is one of those words that can be so many different parts of speech. If we say alarm, that could be a noun. So an alarm is something that wakes us up every morning. Although with the online learning, I bet you guys have shut your alarms off and you can do your work whenever during the day. But remember in the school year when we had to be at the school by 8 a.m. and the alarm would go off in the morning? I wonder, do any of you still keep your alarm going in the morning? Anyhow, that's a noun. But it can also be a verb, like the phone alarms me to wake up. That can be a verb. Now, when we add the magical ing ending, we can change those nouns and verbs, okay? And we can change them into adjectives. It's called a participial adjective, and they're very powerful. So alarming is what we're going to talk about today, and how when we add ing to the word, it changes into an adjective and it can be used to describe something. So when we want to describe something as being alarming, we're saying that this thing, and in this case it's evidence, is something that worries us or disturbs us or scares us. So something that's alarming is something that's worrying, disturbing, or scary. As always, I am going to have you read the word aloud. Alarming. Okay. My goal, and I really do hope that you're using these words outside our classroom. If somebody says something today that surprises you, shocks you, scares you a little, maybe it's about the events that are happening in the world, you could respond by saying, that's really alarming. Okay? I really want you to use these words outside of the classroom. All right. We didn't clap it out yet either. Let's clap out alarming. Alarming. How many syllables does alarming have? It has 3. You guys are getting really good at getting the syllable question correct. And it does help. When you clap something out, it helps you know how to pronounce it. Alarming. Okay. All right. So this is the point of the video where I'm going to talk about, I'm going to give you some additional information that you need to listen to in order to get it correct on your Google form. I am going to go back to our book. And remember, earlier in the week, I reminded you of some of the issues that we learned this school year. Remember, we learned about girls being able to play on boys' teams. That was one of the issues that we discussed earlier in the school year. Remember that earlier in the school year, we also did a unit on using animals for research. Remember the movie that we watched with the monkeys flying airplanes? That was fun. And we didn't get to do this unit in its entirety, but it's on living with drought was another issue that I wish we would have had time to be able to do. What we're doing right now is the issue about whether or not schools should step in when a cyberbully attacks. And a couple other issues that we didn't get to this school year, but we might have gotten to them had we had time in the classroom, is does media need to take a look at how it shows people? Like when we see, especially girls and boys in the media, like on social media or on TV shows or in the movies, is that really how they look? Are they too thin? Are they that perfect makeup? Is that reality? How the media portrays people, is that Is that reality or is it a fantasy? So we didn't get to do that issue. This was the end issue that I wish we could have gotten to. Is it ever okay to tell the whole truth? Oh, I'm sorry. Is it ever okay to not tell the whole truth? Okay. So we didn't get to the unit on honesty. But I'm going to pick a statistic that I find very alarming. And do you remember when we did our unit on animal testing? Many of you were moved by that unit. Here is an alarming statistic from the Animals in Research unit. An estimated 25 million animals are used in biomedical research each year. That's kind of alarming. That's a lot of animals being used to maybe help us discover things. And we weighed in earlier in the school year if that's good or bad. And many of you did come to the conclusion that if you're using animals to help like cure a disease, then maybe it's worth it. And I wonder if they're going to use animals in order to try to help us find a vaccine for the COVID-19 virus. Interesting that we just discussed that earlier this school year. So that I find very alarming, the amount of animals that are used for animal research. Okay, so that's what you need for your Google form. All right, the other activity I want you to do with this assignment is to complete the following sentence. And this one is going to connect to our unit that we're studying right now on cyberbullies. So the sentence reads, statistics show that an alarming number of students have been blank of blank. What I'd like for you to do in this is you're going to, in the blanks, you're going to provide nouns. So it says, statistics show that an alarming number of students have been, and you're going to either put the word targets or victims there. So statistics show that an alarming number of students have been targets of, and then you're going to provide what they've been targets of. And with this unit, we have learned that they have been targets of cyberbullying. Now you can change it up and say they have been targets of cyberbullies and their harassing comments. Or you could say statistics show that an alarming number of students have been victims, is my noun. And what have they been victims of? Online attacks, okay? Harassing comments. You can change it up and fill in the blanks and really demonstrate that you understand the concepts of this unit. You can borrow mine, but just like in the classroom, like I used to always say, if you borrow one of mine, it's not that creative. It's good if you borrow one of mine because at least you're getting the practice of knowing how to use these words. But I'm really impressed when you change it up and make it your own, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is our last one for the week. So have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week for our final week. Next week, I am going to unlock your test on this issue. I'll probably do that Tuesday, and I will be encouraging you to do the pretest all week. I will be giving you a couple more videos that are specific to that test, so you really might want to wait till Wednesday to do the pretest. If you feel very confident, you can go in and do the pretest now. If you don't do well on it, you can always send me a message through the Google Classroom. I can unlock the test, reset it. Remember, I am not concerned about the percentage you get. If you get 100%, that's amazing, but I'm not going to put the percentage grade in the gradebook. I am giving you credit for taking the test, and we want to see improvement. That's all. So some of you didn't do so great in the beginning. Some of you were like, I didn't do well on that test. Like we had some people in the 30%. Yikes, that's awful. It's not good. Okay, but I don't want you to worry about that. What I want you to worry about is, did you improve? Did you go from 30% to 35%? That's great. I mean, it's a small improvement, but that means that you're learning. That's all I worry about. I want you to make progress. This is about progression. It's not about you don't have to be perfect at this point. We just want to see progression. So a couple of you have emailed concerns that you feel your grade is going to drop because those tests are really hard. Please don't worry about that. I want you to just worry about doing your best on the test. I printed up all of your original scores, and we just want to see that you have made growth, that you're progressing, okay? So don't panic about the end results. Just know I kept a record of how you did in the beginning, and we just want to see if you have improved in your skills, okay? All right, I hope you have a lovely, lovely weekend, and I will talk to you later. Love you, bye, love you, bye, love you, bye.